Well, I never expected to have to do this on our first show back after Thanksgiving, but here we are. Apparently, this is a topic we aren't supposed to cover. The powers that be are trying to bury it. Other creators in our space have even said that their videos are being suppressed for reporting on exactly what we're about to talk about. From day one, we made a promise to you, our viewers, that we would never back down, that we would always give it to you straight. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We have to talk about these unprovoked attacks on Venezuelan boats and what seems to be blatant war crimes being carried out by our military in our name. But first, before we jump in, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be the first to know when we post. This is Pragmotiv News, and it's your boy Trey. So, according to a bombshell report from the Washington Post, on September 2nd, SEAL Team 6, under orders from Pete Hegseth, launched a U.S. missile off the coast of Trinidad and struck a boat, killing most of its occupants. All because the Trump administration claims the vessel was involved in drug smuggling. And keep in mind, this is straight from Donald Trump, the same man who insists Fauci, Hillary, and Joe Biden belong in jail, and whose opponents keep mysteriously developing a bad case of mortgage fraud whenever they get on his bad side. So, getting back to the report, that boat carried 11 people. After the first missile hit, a live drone feed showed the boat on fire. Then, to the shock of commanders, 2 survivors were clinging to the wreckage. It was at this moment, according to multiple sources cited by the reporting, that Pete Hegseth allegedly gave a spoken order to, quote, kill everybody that was on the boat. Following that order, a second strike was launched and 2 survivors were killed. So take a look at this clip from Glenn Kirshner and Dan Maurer, who is a military law expert.
The illegality of what is being reported in this Washington Post article.
Yeah, I mean, aside from it being completely immoral and base to do that to survivors of a strike, there's a reason why it's illegal under international law, because it's viewed as beyond the pale. So the first thing to note is that under well-known international law, that goes back not just modern international, customary international law directing how you use force abroad, says you cannot give an order for no quarter. Take no survivors. That's not lawful under any interpretation of the law of armed conflict, and it hasn't been for a very long time. I mean, this predates the revolution, and it's certainly embedded in the Hague regulations and in the Geneva Conventions that we have signed as treaties and make part of our law. And it's something that we train our service members as one of the basic foundational principles of all of our. You don't kill prisoners. You don't kill what are called hors de combat, or out of the fight. French for out of the fight. That includes POWs, includes wounded and sick, and it includes the shipwrecked. It includes survivors. And there are special protections that you give to shipwrecked crews, whether you're fighting a law enforcement campaign or you're fighting an armed conflict. When there are survivors in the sea, you actually have a duty to go rescue them. Not just don't kill them, but to also rescue them. That's an affirmative obligation to save their life, not to take their life. It's easy to kill them. Clearly we did that. But I don't understand what really bothered at a core level is how that order, that kill everyone order, was interpreted by a 3-star admiral at the time. That admiral commanding JSOC is now the commander 4-star of Special Operations Command. A former Navy SEAL, well, I guess you're always a Navy SEAL, former commander of SEAL Team 6, said, launch the second missile, because those 2 shipwrecked crew members might get picked up by their fellow narco-terrorists and continue trafficking drugs. 1, highly unlikely. 2, that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And he should have known that. He absolutely should have known that. whether there was a jag in the room or not. That's basic. That's like, how do you shoot your weapon basic? And that, to me, is an impeachable offense for Hegseth. It is a court-martialable offense for the admiral, and I take no joy in saying that as a former retired officer to say that there's any blame here on the military, but there is. They followed a patently lawful order to kill those drug runners, assuming they're drug runners, even if they're the worst drug runners in the world, even if they're armed. If they're not shooting at the U.S. forces at the time, they are not targetable. In fact, they had to be saved, picked up, and rescued, not just blown to pieces, as the reporting indicates. It is so far illegal that I cannot understand how someone that senior could have allowed that to happen. And all down the chain of command. I mean, it might have been a 3-star to a drone operator or someone firing a missile from a plane. Who knows? It might have been 2 steps, but both of those steps should have been a firm rejection. No, we're not going to kill them. Bottom line. And they should have put their stars on the table. You want to fire me for that? Fine.
Yep. So exactly. One of my biggest fears is how much Donald Trump has degraded our military. Clearly, his new ICE recruits are falling way short of professional law enforcement standards, given how they handle people that they encounter. My real worry is this. What if the rest of the military starts going the same way? We need trained, professional people with a moral compass running the most powerful military in the world, not people like Hegseth, who treats a real-world war like a video game, dodging accountability, racking up kills, and forgetting that every life lost is someone's family, and that there is no respawning like there is in the Call of Duty game. So this horrible attack we have been talking about this whole video was just the beginning, believe it or not. The attack on that boat marked the opening strike in a broader military campaign targeting vessels suspected of smuggling drugs in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. And as of this week, Trump and his minions have conducted over 20 similar strikes and have killed more than 80 people, according to reports. Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers are now watching closely. They're demanding answers from the Pentagon. And the big question, the one everyone is asking, is were any of these orders illegal, either here at home or internationally? And as we just watched in the clip, the answer to that question seems to be a resounding yes. These are real lives we're talking about. People's children, siblings, parents. And this is what this fucked up administration is doing in our name across the globe. They're not tarnishing the reputation. They're not just tarnishing our military's reputation, but they're creating more tension. And some of this tension could manifest itself into more radicalized people hell-bent on revenge. And if that happens, who do y'all think is going to end up paying the price? It's going to be everyday people like me and you. It's not going to be Trump and Hegseth. Meanwhile, Hegseth has defended his campaign, calling the operations, quote, lethal kinetic strikes. So, AKA murder bombs. He says they are aimed at traffickers he claims are a part of a designated terrorist organization. But here's what we know for certain. He ordered a second strike on 2 unarmed survivors stranded in the water after giving a directive to, quote, kill everybody. And he did it representing us. And as an American, if that doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what will. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow at Pragmotiv News everywhere to stay prag-motivated. Also, you can find us across all the major platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio, so that you can listen to us even when you're out on the go. Please remember to share this video with your friends and family, especially today, since obviously they are hell-bent on keeping this under wraps. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.